Hey everybody, Jason Shadrick here with Premier Guitar, and we're at the Winter NAMM show in Anaheim, kicking things off. We're at the Empress booth with Dan here, and you were hearing one of their new toys they brought called Zoia, which is this colorful box of buttons right here.
Yep.
So why don't you explain to us kind of the idea behind what this box does and how it works with everything else you have going on here.
For sure, yeah, I'll give it a go. You guys got me out of bed early here. The show hasn't even started. So the Zoia is basically a platform for creating musical things. It'll let you create anything from effects to musical instruments like synths or utilities, and all those are savable and recallable quickly on presets. So to give you a quick rundown on how it works, the grid here lets you drop in modules and connects them, kind of like a Euro rack, I guess would be the best analogy. So here we just have inputs and outputs on the grid, which will just pass our signal if I connect them. And I turn up my guitar volume. So let's make a quick delay line.
Yep.
So to do that, I'm just going to select where I want to drop it in, select what type of thing I'm going to do. So here I'll select delay line, and I'm just going to add a quick extra feature, a tap tempo for it as well. So now I've dropped it in, and now I can connect the audio path just by selecting both of the connections at the same time. So if I press and hold both of those, now these two are connected, and then I can connect the output to the output of the pedal. And I'll drop in the tap tempo here as well, just by I can interface with any of the stomp switches, and then I'll drop that onto the tap tempo switch here. So now I can control the delay time with the stomp switch, and the audio path runs from here through the delay line and then out. So we should have, all right, a simple.
This is tap tempo?
Yeah, right now, but it's anything you want, because it's just a stomp switch. So you drop the stomp switch on the grid, and then you can connect it to anything you want. So that's kind of the beauty of this, is that you can connect anything to anything. So you can really, like, sky's the limit, right? You can do whatever you want. So once, you know,
it kind of reminds me of almost like a breadboard when you're designing a circuit, kind of connecting the dots here with filling up with whatever you need.
Very much. So yeah, it's like modules. So you just like drop them in and connect them all together. So, and you can keep expanding on that. Like here, we drew up a little diagram of a tape delay that I made, which, you know, it goes into stereo, has some grit and EQ to make it dark, feedback control, modulation controls, tap tempo mix, and that gives you like a full, basically a full featured tape delay. And
so each one of these different colors on this grid is a different part of this diagram.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can color code everything that you want, or you can just use the default colors.
Okay.
You kind of develop your own system, and you know, once you have that, you can save the presets, export them, share them online with. We have like a repository where you can upload your stuff and download stuff that other people have done, expand on them, and then once you have, you know, all the effects you want, you can put them together in like a virtual pedal board, which I wasn't supposed to get there yet. So like this, I just put together, you know, I made each of these effects, and then I just strung them together into like a pedal board. So now we have, you know, a compressor into a gain, EQ, tremolo, delay, and reverb, and then the tap tempo is controlling the tremolo and the delay. So you really can make like a full board right in here.
So how are these? Using these switches, you control the on-off of these different effects. Is that?
Yeah, you could assign the bypass of each effect to a stomp switch, or you can control
any one of these three.
Yep.
Okay.
Or you can control it with MIDI. So if you had like a MIDI controller where you know have presets and things like that, you could have it control the on-off of everything. The other thing that it excels at, the Zoia, is making synths. Yeah. So I made a couple synths. I alluded at one earlier there. This one, we have a sequencer controlling some oscillators and ADSR. So it's like Euro rack, and you drop in each item, right? So you have LFOs and oscillators and all that.
And you're not playing anything. When they're hearing this, you're not playing anything.
No, so this one, the sequencer here, this purple one, is controlling, the LFO is controlling the sequencer, and then that's opening the gate for the oscillators as it goes and has the notes. You can also control with MIDI, so like something like this. I have like a polyphonic synth that's controlled with the MIDI keyboard.
Yep.
And I have a diagram up here of I think we call it the Mega Synth, where we made, it's like a 4-voice FM synth that we made using all of the building blocks. And then this box here, we made that, we call them a super module, where you can condense it all down into just a couple blocks on the screen, and then drop them in, so you can multiply that as many times as you want to get as much polyphony as you want. So if you want, 10 notes, you just drop 10 of those in. And then we have that all running through an auto panner, then through a stereo delay, and then a stereo reverb. So it kind of lets you combine all this kind of modularly synth stuff with traditional effects that you could either pull from the library that's included, or you can make your own, which is what we did here. And so that's that kind of stuff.
So all the sounds, so even though we got the reverb and the echo here, all the sounds are coming out of the Zoia.
Yeah.
So it has,
these are both off right now.
Okay, it has, so run down real quick the effects that are in this. We have synths, we have delays, compressors, tremolos.
That's it, yeah. So there's a couple categories of item that you can drop in here. So the stuff that you're talking about is our effects category. So that we have like distortion, compression, delays, reverbs, gates, like all the like pedals type stuff.
Modulation.
Yeah. And then interface is anything you connect with it. So like MIDI notes, audio inputs and outputs, tap switches, those are interfaces. Audio out would be modules that pass audio, so Euro rack type things, filters, oscillators, and the like. And then we have some utility type stuff, like CV control things and audio to CV converters. So you could, take an audio signal and convert it to MIDI notes and stuff like that. So if you want to trigger MIDI off your guitar, you can do things like that as well.
Wow, you guys packed a whole bunch in that little pedal there. So what'll be the availability and the pricing on the Zoia, Dan?
Yeah, so availability is always up in the air. A lot of people say NAMM is like not available, maybe May. May would be a stretch for us. I'm thinking it's probably closer to summer. But it's kind of like in the works, and we're gonna open up, we have a user forum where people can go on and suggest ideas, and then people can vote on them, and the stuff that floats to the top we're gonna really try and implement. So if anybody watching wants to get on that, just shoot us an email, support@empresseffects.com, and we can get you on the forum so you can get involved in that. And price point, we're hoping $450 to $499 in that price range.
Oh, $350 to $499?
$450 to $499.
$450, okay.
Yeah. So like these guys are both at $450, and we're trying to hit that price point. This one's a little more involved, so it might be a bit more, but it's going to be in that range anyways.
All right. Well, Dan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is Jason Shadrick with PremierGuitar.com.